One. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Welsh Republic podcast, episode 118 today. And I am here with my guest, Christine Cotton. Bonjour, Christine. Comment allez-vous?
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
Comment allez-vous?
Very good. Thanks.
That's good. Yeah, I was just greeting you in French. What have you been up to today, Christine? Anything much before you came on my show?
No. I'm focused on my subject, so the clinical trials, and no more.
Fair enough. What is the weather like in France at the moment? Is it good? Is it bad? Because it is summertime in France, and I can imagine it's pretty hot there at the moment.
Yeah. Today and yesterday, it's very hot. Yeah. Too hot.
I remember when I was younger, I went on holiday in the south of France and to Cannes and Bordeaux, and it's very beautiful. I wouldn't say the middle of France isn't exactly as perfect, but the south of France is gorgeous, like Cannes, Bordeaux, Nice, Biarritz, really are beautiful places. I do miss France. It's a nice place,
Yeah. I love south of France because this is my country. This is where I was born, in Cannes. So I'm sometimes miss my landscape.
But what was your favorite in Cannes? What was your favorite beach to go to when you were younger, and what was your favorite holiday place there?
Oh, when I was younger, we went on holidays with my grandmother because I'm adult. My parents had a kind of a supermarket, a small supermarket, and they work every summer, almost every day. So I went on vacations with my grandma near Italy.
Oh, that's beautiful. I remember when I was there, I think it was 10 years ago, I remember going to the beach in France and seeing the Hollywood, where they have the Cannes Film Festival, and going around, exploring there. And man, it's just gorgeous. It's so beautiful, being near the Mediterranean Ocean and stuff. And the food in Cannes it's just lovely. It's just so nice.
French food is lovely.
What would you say is your favorite French meal, Christine?
Oh, I have Italian blood, so I love pasta. Yeah, very much.
That's a funny way of putting it. That is. I would say my favorite food, Christine, would have to be, I really like, garlic bread in France. I love ratatouille. I think ratatouille is just top-notch food. Top-notch. I also really like French beef. I think France makes very nice sausages and gorgeous beef.
Yeah. Ratatouille is good. It's good.
So in your area, what is it like there at the moment? Is it safe from the riots, or is it very rough?
No, it's very safe from the riots because it's only landscape everywhere and cows. So it's very, very quiet here.
Oh, very nice.
Big towns very much.
Oh, that's very good, hey? Getting away. Well, Paris, used to be very beautiful back in the day, Christine, but it's very, very dirty now, and it's just full of people, and it's just not as good as it used to be, That's why many people who go to France nowadays prefer to go to the south of France.
Yeah.
There's still
Paris very much.
You don't miss Paris very much?
No.
It's like in New Zealand here. In New Zealand, not many people like Auckland, and it's like in Australia, nobody really likes Sydney and stuff like that. It's like in England, nobody likes London.
Yeah.
But it is very nice, in France. I would love to go back there one day. It would be very nice,
Yeah.
What do you feel like with the riots that are going on in there, Christine? Do you feel like the media is overplaying it, or do you feel like it's very, very bad, like people say it is?
I have no real opinion on this because I am on Twitter. So on Twitter, you have all the information you need or you want. So I'm quite well informed on this. So I don't watch TV anymore for years, maybe 8 or 9 years. So I don't know what the media say about the riots.
Oh, they're probably, because I hear it was that 17-year-old Algerian kid who got shot, and the Western media seems to be blaming it on white supremacists and saying some people are saying that the riots are justified, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous why they're doing that.
I can't do an analysis on this because this is not my job. I'm not a politician. I'm not an expert in geopolitics or in politics or I
That's
don't know.
okay. That's
There,
okay.
there are many reasons for this, I think. So now it's the mess.
That's okay, Christina. Anyways, let's move on to what we were going to be talking about. So, Christina, you are a biostatistician, right? Biostatistician.
Biostatistician.
So, tell me what that is. Tell me what that is. How long have you been a biostatistician, and what made you get interested to do that job?
The biostatistician is the one in the pharmaceutical industry who works for the research and development department, and is the one who writes the statistical part of a protocol, of a clinical study protocol. So is in charge of the methodology of the clinical trial, and he describes into the protocol how we are going to program the analysis and computes the number of patients to include into a clinical trial to be able to prove a difference between the new product and the placebo or the new product and the reference treatment that is already on the market. So this is the first task of the biostatistician mission. And then once you have all the data recorded into a clinical trial, he has to program this planned analysis and to send the results, so tables, figures, listings, to a medical writer who is in charge of the redaction of the clinical study report. So my job during 23 years was to provide this kind of results. And I also manage what we call the CRO, Clinical Research Organization. And in this CRO, I had what we call data managers, so people in charge of the data of clinical trials and post-market studies. So I had in 2008, I think, almost 20 people working with me in my own company.
Sorry, say that 20 people were
specialized in the management of clinical data. And my clients were Janssen Cilag, Sanofi, Aventis. Maybe you don't know because it's a French lab. It's Pierre Fabre, Yamanouchi, Takeda, Medtronic.
Yeah.
Many clients, big one and smaller ones in every field we can have.
Pretty fancy name for labs.
Yeah, you can have osteoporosis studies. You can have urology studies when you have a benign hypertrophy of bladder. The bladder. You can have oncology studies. It's very various domains you can work in, and you don't need to be a doctor, of course, to work for this, to be a biostatistician. You need to have background studies in statistics. You have to know the probabilities, the laws of probability. You have to know how to program the analysis, and it is not a job for a doctor. It's a job for a biostatistician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you talk about that, look, I don't really know much about biostatistician, but who would you say, like, out of when you were growing up, like studying to be a biostatistician, who would you say was like a famous French doctor or biostatistician who, like, from a book that you read, who you looked up to and you thought was
No,
very good?
no, I'm not that kind of person. I don't
Oh, I
have
see. Fair enough.
I don't have hero. But maybe you can see this here, but I don't have any hero. So I'm just a fan of comics, but I don't have any hero.
Fair enough.
So I became a biostatistician by chance.
What would you say is your favorite thing to study when doing? What is your favorite thing about, like, in the work of being a biostatistician?
What is very pleasant as a biostatistician, and when you are a subcontractor of different, you have different clients. So what is very interesting is to be involved in different fields, because you don't analyze oncology studies the same you analyze the dermatology study. We have not the same methods, the same you have the same people into the lab you work for. So it's very interesting. You meet a lot of people, and it's very interesting. You learn many things on the medical plan, because you understand how work pathology, what is your main criterion or to study into a clinical trial. So what is the action of a product on the pathology. So it's a very, very interesting job. You have meetings with doctors, pharmacists, professors, specialists, pharmacovigilance people. It's a very interesting job.
Would you say the French medical industry and the pharmaceutical company, would you say it is as corrupt as America's one?
No. I've been worked 23 years with these people, and I have never met anyone that I can say he is corrupted. He is corrupted. Never. If there is corruption in pharmaceutical industry, it's not the operational level. No, you have people who work very well, very concerned about the methods, what we call the good clinical practices. So they have never asked to change the results to have a favorable conclusion if the product does not work, because you have many studies, the placebo is better than the product you study. So yeah, never. I've worked with very concerned people, and for me, they are less. How do you say this? Insane people in pharmaceutical industry that on Twitter, because when you see all the people with no qualification who talks about
the people who claim to be, like they know everything, and you spread fake rumors.
The expert without no expertise. There are many people who claim to be an expert on this, an expert on that.
Who would you give as a good example? Who would you give as a good example of one?
Yeah, I've been harassed for more than a year now, and these people claim to be experts. So
oh wow!
I love because they have never been involved in any clinical trial. They don't know what are good clinical practices, but they talk. they talk. So maybe they believe they are experts. So maybe they have to go to see a psychiatrist because it's I don't understand really. So I've never met this kind of people into the pharmaceutical companies, never. So
What would
that's
you?
why I was so surprised to find so many bias, statistical bias, and
Oh, that is absolutely true.
into the clinical trials on COVID vaccines. It was very surprising for me to find all this because this is not the usual way to work when we work in pharmaceutical industry or for pharmaceutical industry. Even if you are a subcontractor, we have audits. They come to check regularly to see if you respect the process. We have SOPs, standard operating procedures. So they are very concerned about quality and good clinical practices. They check that you work properly. If you don't, you are excluded from the list of subcontractors. So this is a very, very serious job, very serious job. So these COVID-19 clinical trials are particularly a part. This is not the usual way to work in a clinical trial.
Christine, so you, like you were saying, you worked on the trials. Was this like the main trials for like the European Union and like in Europe, or was this one like that you worked with like with scientists like in a big organization? And like what you mentioned about the trials, what were the things that really disturbed you about the trials that made it different to any other vaccine in human history? And what things did you see that just really you thought were wrong and then should have just never been allowed? And what were the dangers that you saw of it?
Yeah, so I have downloaded all the documents on the Pfizer's clinical trial on the COVID vaccine. And what I saw first, it's everyone has should have seen.
Did you want me to bring it up now on the screen?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to go to Christine's documents. She's done a brilliant job of showing these documents. Here we go. It's going on the screen, and I'll just make the screen bigger. So what is this? So it says here, evaluation of, what does it say?
Methodological practices implemented in the Pfizer BioNTech trials in the development of its COVID-19 mRNA vaccine in relation to good clinical practices. That is the key, the good clinical practices. So what is very important to see, it's here we have all the stakeholders into a clinical trial. So my job was to manage a company which was involved in data management service, statistical service, and sometimes medical writing. So we have the sponsor, we can say Pfizer, and we have to recruit participants into a clinical trial. And then you have to recruit these participants. You have the hospitals, clinical research structures, which recruits the participants. That's what we call the center. And each time we have an adverse event, they must report to the pharmacovigilance service. They send the blood samples to the laboratory, lab to have the results of blood samples, the PCR test, etc. You have people who go on the centers, into the center to check if the data reported are the same that the data recorded into the source document, the source file of the participant, where you have the quality assurance service, etc. So all these people have to follow the good clinical practices. And what we know that the classic development is to have the preclinical development, so on the animals, monkeys or mouse or rats or what you want. And then you have the phase 1, 2, 3. Phase 3, you have your clinical study report that you submit to the FDA in USA to your health authority agency, and then you have the authorization or no. So what we have for this vaccine, all the COVID vaccines, is that we had this way to work. So each phase begins.
Christine,
Yeah.
sorry. Are you just scrolling down on it right now, like on the documents, or?
Can see. Yeah, I'm scrolling down.
Sorry, I can't really see you scrolling down on the documents.
Strange indeed.
It's the internet problem. But yeah, like you were saying, explain to us. Keep going.
So yeah, it's better.
Sorry about that, Christine. You can take it.
It's better when you have a document, because it's quite difficult sometimes to understand.
That's okay. No worries. We can work that problem out.
We have an accelerated development. So we have the phases which began as the previous one is not finished. So, and what is very important to know about this efficacy, supposed efficacy, is that the main criterion of the Pfizer's trial, as it was the same in the Moderna's trial, it's an efficacy on the mild or moderate cases confirmed by PCR test. And I've showed that we have major bias, statistical bias, that false the results. So this 95% of efficacy, it's not true. We know that it's not true. And what is very disturbing is that we are in a period of pandemic. We have the world, everyone is afraid to die. And into the clinical trial, the Pfizer has not planned to do a PCR test on all the participants, but only if you have symptoms. So you can't pretend to have an effect on asymptomatic people. And it's almost a violation of main laws, of main protections laws in clinical trials, because you make people taking risk because you don't test them. You understand? It's the Declaration of Helsinki. So it's very important. You have to protect the participants in your trial.
And that is absolutely correct. Safety is very important. And one thing about the vaccine trials, and the one thing about this vaccine, they rushed it and it was not tested properly.
Exactly. But if you don't protect your participants, here you have real life. In real life, you have lockdown. You have a PCR test for everybody. And you have the clinical trial. And here you have only PCR test for symptomatic people. So your results is totally biased because you don't test everyone's. And so this way you don't protect your participant, because you let them go back to their home. Maybe they contaminate their family, their children, in their job, they contaminate their colleagues. So it's totally unbelievable to have this way of managing participants into COVID clinical trial. So,
by the way, I've got your things here on my side. Can you see it? Can you see it
So
properly?
it's a major report written in January 2022.
Yeah, there it
that
is.
I sent to lawyers in the world.
Oh, you send to lawyers in the world. So can you see
Yeah,
it, Christina? Can you see it properly?
Yeah, it was used in France into a poisoning lawsuit against X, because many people are involved into this development vaccine, which does not respect the good clinical practices. But it was used in France in a lawsuit. But I think it's the only country as soon as April 2022. So what I show in this report is
Well, where would you like me? What page would you like me to go to on this?
see the where I talk about antibodies, maybe.
What number is that?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Or we could try to find it. Table of contents.
I'm not sure you can click directly on the table of contents because it is protected.
Antibodies. What do you think the antibodies from the vaccine did a lot of good things, or no, to protect you from the virus?
The point, if you are a methodologist, is not here. The point is that they say in their guidelines that the neutralizing antibodies are not a good criteria to measure the immunity. And they use this one because they don't have any other criterion to use to measure immunity. So they measure neutralizing antibodies. And what is very important to know is that they measure them only 2 months after dose 2. So into the monkeys' preclinical results, we see that we have an increase in antibodies, and then you have a small decrease. And then they stop measure the antibodies level, neutralizing antibodies level. So it's totally unbelievable that the company does not measure the antibodies after. And it seems that they already know that the antibodies level decrease. You understand my point? You measure this, and then you have no measurement, and you provide an interim analysis just at 3 months. All the results were provided on the patient's follow-up of 3 months maximum, as your clinical trial lasts 2 years. So you have this 2 years, and you provide analysis on this.
So you think the vaccine should have been, tested on for 2 years before it gets released? Do you think it should have been tested for 2 years?
Because 2 years it was difficult because we were into a hurry. But on 3 months, of course, you don't have enough duration to show to study long-term safety or medium-term safety. You have your safety results on 3 months maximum. So when they say it's safe, it's safe according to the result.
No, it's not. That's just big pharma.
It's safe according to the results of a clinical trial on people follow 3 months. So what is very important to know now, it's that the
is this Christine? Is this one better? This one I just posted here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There you go.
you can go down. Go down.
What number? It says you can go to number.
Number, you can go to 28.
28, correct? Here we go. All right, there we go.
Yeah, so here you can see the antibodies measurement. So here, where is the arrow, the red arrow, it's when you have the beginning of the decrease. And then after, you have no measurement. And on the right, you have the results on the booster. And then the red arrow is the measure at 6 months. So you understand why they analyze at 3 months only, because if they had provided an analysis on 6 months, the decreased, so the very bad values of antibodies were should have been into the report. So the health agencies would have been very concerned to give an authorization on a product with antibodies that drops so quickly. So my point is that they provided an analysis at three months, not to show the decrease in antibodies. But all this is now totally obsolete, almost, because what we know for several weeks now, and I have noticed this before, but what we know is that the Pfizer vaccine used in real life was not the vaccine tested into the clinical trial.
It was basically a placebo. Was this the first trial, the second trial, or the third trial?
It's not placebo. There is no, this is not this. No. The vaccine, it is not the same. Maybe I can send you. No, I don't talk about placebo. In real life, you must not have placebo. It is not this kind of problem. So maybe here I can send you.
Sure, no worries.
Can send you here into the chat. This is the Pfizer clinical protocol. If you can open it, please.
It's opening.
So this is a very important point, and everyone on this planet has to know this, because this is the hugest scandal I've ever seen in my life into pharmaceutical industry.
It is a very big scandal. I think COVID was probably the biggest scandal in human history. Can you see that? All right, I will.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna.
If you could look for process.
Okay.
Manufacturing, maybe manufacturing.
Just gonna zoom it in if we can see it. Yeah, you can see it good. What number do you want me to go to?
No, not. You can have the research function. We have to look for manufacturing.
What number is it?
I don't know.
So you can see here phase 2, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen.
So manufacturing, you have this on page 131. 131.
Thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Protocol 7.
Look at this.
Yeah, I'm on there. Yeah.
Yeah. Added section 6.1 6.1.1 to describe manufacturing process 1 and process 2. Added an additional exploratory objective.
Which one is it you want me to go on?
No, yeah, it was the correct page.
Oh, the top one.
In
this
the middle. No, here, don't move. On the summary and rationale for changes. This is the change. This document history. It is a record of all the changes into the protocol. So, added an additional exploratory objective to describe safety and immunogenicity in participants vaccinated with study intervention produced by manufacturing process 1 or process 2. So this means that you have two processes to manufacture the Pfizer vaccine. The results provided, the 95% of efficacy provided, was on process 1. And then they changed the process because they realized that they won't be able to produce so many doses with the process 1. So they changed the process. And with the process 2, they had what we call a rate of mRNA integrity, which was lower than with the process 1. And into the clinical trial, they had planned to compare the result of immunogenicity, so it's the antibodies level, and the safety, of course, of this process 1 and process 2. And they gave the new manufactured jabs to 250 participants only. And this is...
How many participants would you have recommended for it?
No, but this is not... No, there is no way to this is a major problem. So you don't understand because this is not your part. This is a major problem. They change the way to manufacture the product after giving the results. And so they had to provide results, safety results, on 250. But in real life, you remember in real life, you watch your TV, they said 55% of efficacy. But this result is on the process 1. Or in real life, you got the process 2 jabs. You understand? The whole population has received this new manufactured vaccine, only tested on 250 people.
Wow.
On which you have no result published from now on. You understand this scandal?
Yep, I do. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. They only tested on 250 people.
Which was proved erroneously, of course, but which proved to be safe and efficient. You have not received this vaccine. You have received a new formula manufactured in a different way. And this one was given to the population. So the 95% of efficacy is not on this new manufacturing way. It's on the first process, not the second one. So on the second process of manufacture the jabs, you don't have any result provided from now on. It's the biggest scandal I ever seen on my life, to change the process to manufacture a product after you announce the results.
That's absolutely ridiculous. I can't lie.
It's a huge scandal. So you have not been informed that you had not the jab of the process 2. You have you have not signed a consent form saying that the jab into real life was not the one tested into the clinical trial. Have you signed this kind of a consent form? I am
Nope.
aware that I'm receiving a jab which is not the one or tested during the clinical trial. Have you signed something?
Nope, nothing. Absolutely nothing. They didn't do that to anybody at
So
all.
for the first time in pharmaceutical industry history, you have in real life authorized by all health agencies a product on which you have no results, or maybe
Wow.
on 250 participants, but they are not published. So you are really a guinea pig.
Wow. That is absolutely criminal. I really hope that Pfizer, faces criminal action against this. This is just unacceptable.
So we have to do class actions against health agencies
So
because
you said you were a lawyer. You said you were a lawyer, right? How is the class action lawsuit going with your case against them?
here we have to multiply lawsuits against the health agencies. This product should not have been authorized on the basis on this clinical trial first, because there are many concerns about the methodologies, and then knowing this, all the people they changed the manufacturing process, but how the agencies could have given authorization on a product not testing on more than 250 participants. No way. This has never exists into the pharmaceutical industry. Never. So it was my job. I worked with these people. Sometimes I had very important studies, clinical trials to be submitted to FDA or French authorities. But never they have worked this way. Never. So why in the world, all the agencies have authorized this product on the basis of this? How? It's not possible. So there is a very, very big problem with this.
Wow, it is very bad. This is just not acceptable. What
So it is
what
written, so you see with
yeah,
your own eyes, this is written into the protocol. This is not a conspiracy, a theory, or I don't know, all the usual
Chris,
stuff used by people who don't know anything about statistics.
Christine, where would you like me to go to now on this?
You maybe when we see the number of these participants, the 200 and so it's page it's page 182, 6.1.1 manufacturing process.
6.1.1. Well, CC time.
On page 182.
Saline. Wow, that's crazy.
No, the previous one. Previous page.
Oh, previous page, 101.
One.
Sorry. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm on here.
So
What would you like to say about this page?
go down, please.
You see?
No, this is I've not the same page.
Oh, so it's 182.
No, you're right. 182. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. That's all good. So what would you like to say about this page?
So go down, as we can see the
Yeah,
bottom
manufacturing
of the
projects.
page.
There we go.
Yeah, go down. So no, go up. Sorry, it's 611.
611. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Stop. So here they say the scale of the BNT manufacturing has been increased to support future supply. Will be administered to approximately 250 participants. So on adults, the first population studies, the safety and immunogenicity of prophylactic in individual. They have to compare process 1 and process 2 will be described. In brief, the process changes related to the method of production for the DNA template that RNA drug substance is transcribed from blah, blah, blah. So they explain in this chapter that they have changed the way to produce LNP, mRNA, and that they have to test this new way of manufacturing the product on 250 participants only. So this is this new product that you have received, my dear.
Wow.
Yeah, as you say. Wow. Unbelievable. So all the agencies gave the authorization to vaccine billions of people with this new process. Great job.
And it's terrible because it's killing a lot of people. Christine, I also heard there was a latest news that came out. It was by I'm finding that latest news. It says here on my profile, it says here, scientists have found cinnamon virus. I think it's, how do you spell this? It's spelled SAMIAN virus 40 in Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines, a virus from monkey kidneys that the United States stopped using the vaccines in 1963 because it was suspect of causing cancer.
Yeah, I think I've seen this on Twitter. I think it's Kevin McKernan, no?
Sorry, say it again.
I think it's Kevin McKernan.
Yeah, Kevin McKernan. He's the one who says it. He says his team had done some research and he said which can make you something immune to antibodies. Some DNA can. Wow, that's terrible. When you look at this vaccine, Christine, when you look at it and look at the effects it's having on people's DNA, what would you say is the most disturbing results that you're seeing that it's doing to people's DNA?
This is not my part. This is not my part because I'm not able to evaluate what the vaccine does on DNA. So I trust the work of several people in this world, such as Kevin McKernan, and I think it's a good. I think it's biologists or something like that. So I trust these experts because it is their job to know, to analyze, and to look with a microscope. This is not my job. My job is to count. So what I can count is adverse events and number of people, number of deaths, or number of people with serious adverse event, and these numbers.
How many people do you know have died from the vaccine in France?
I don't know. I don't know. What we know in France is that we have over mortality in 2022, and the number of excess mortality was, I think, 58,000 people. But you don't know if they die, the reason they die. You don't know even if they were vaccinated. So you can have conclusions on just this number. We asked for the vaccination status to the health ministry to be able to study if we have more death into vaccinated people, among vaccinated people, or among the unvaccinated people. Here you don't know, we don't know. But what we can see is that when we go on the pharmacovigilance website, you can have the number of cases reported by professionals, health professionals, or by people by themselves. And here you can have a picture, underestimated picture, but a picture of the number of people who are ill, seriously ill from the vaccines. So maybe I can send.
Right, no worries. How many people, how many friends and family have you known have gotten a bad reaction from the vaccine and have died from it?
Around me, I have nobody, I think. Nobody.
Oh, that's very good.
But
That's very
I have
good.
friends who knows friends who know friends with bad reaction. But around me, my very small circle, no one. But I have a very small circle.
That's good because less drama, small circle, good.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
very representative of the population, I think. No, so the best way to have figures and to be able to talk about adverse event is to check on the pharmacovigilance website, and then this is here they are the adverse event reported by people. So what we know is that maybe we have only 1% to 10% which are declared by people, by physicians or patients themselves. So we know that the number is really underestimated, but then you have an idea of what was reported. So maybe I can send a link on the Vigilance, which is the where it is. So
You
if
like?
you click on this, maybe
Yeah, I'm getting it now.
it's a direct access to the Pfizer vaccine, the first one based on the Yuan strain.
It's just signing in there now.
Yeah,
It's a bit strange. So the Yuan strain. All right.
yeah, the Yuan first one. So it's takes a little bit time sometimes, but because so it's okay. You have the results.
It's loading. A lot of people here in New Zealand have died from the vaccine too. It is absolutely horrific.
But it's very complicated to be sure that they die from the vaccine. That's the point, because you have to declare to the pharmacovigilance agency service, so your health authority, and these people have to make the link to evaluate the possibility of the link between your death and the vaccine. And this is the very blocking point, because they mainly say that the vaccine has no action, no relation with the death. So here you just have the cases. So
So here we go.
that,
So number of individuals of each group.
so it's a number of cases declared in EudraVigilance. It's a European pharmacovigilance database. So you see that you have almost more than 1 million, 200 million, 1.2 million of cases declared. So if you multiply by 10, it's 12 million.
12 million of that. Oh, wow, that's crimes against humanity, man. That is.
If you click on number of individual cases by reaction group, the fourth, yeah, click on this.
Yeah, I'm clicking it now. It's loading.
Yeah. So tozinameran is the name of the Pfizer vaccine on this. So you put your mouse on a bar, the one you like, on the bar on the right. Right.
Right. Yep, that one.
No. On the bar, on the blue. Here.
Blue. Yeah.
Click on the bar. Click with your mouse, yeah, and then you click on switch to table.
Switch to table. Okay. Yep.
Right.
What does it exactly do if you switch on the table?
So it displays the tables instead of the graphic. Switch, yeah. Click on this, and then you have the number of.
It's not actually switching for me, but it does say 7,000.
Sometimes it takes times. So you have the number of cases by age, by seriousness, by what you want with the serious cases, the number of serious cases, by what we call the system organ class. This is what you have on the left, system organ class.
Mm-hmm.
This is the class where, blood and lymphatic system disorder. It's the system organ class, cardiac disorder. So when you have an adverse event, you have a coding performed by pharmacovigilance services and by data manager into a clinical trial, and you have the reported term by the investigator, and then you have a coding, and with the code you have this class reaction group, what they call reaction group. So you have eye disorder, gastrointestinal, product issue, psychiatric disorder, and each you have by age the number of cases reported. So you can have you can see that on the 12 17 years old people, you have 31,000 cases reported, and you can see that the main system organ is general disorders, which is normal because you have in this the reaction to the injection point. So all the arm pain are reported into this system organ, and you see that you have nervous system disorder, 11,000 cases on nervous system.
Wow, that's insane.
So it's very interesting to regularly look at this data, because you have a picture of what is reported by.
This is in France, right, or in Europe?
No, it's Europe. It's
right.
EME. No, IMA. Sorry. European Medicine Agency. It's
it's in Europe. I didn't notice that. That was a bit silly of me.
Yeah.
Wow, that's absolutely insane.
So regularly on Twitter, I publish the reported cases, but it's only the first vaccine. This one, it's what we call the monovalent. So it's only the strain, the Yuan strain, and then after we have the bivalent. Bivalent, it's the new vaccine on the market with the Yuan strain and the BA1, or I don't know the variant. And we have more adverse event with the new vaccine than the first one.
Wow.
But it was less, of course, injected to the population because the two first doses were performed with this one, the first one. So you have the same for Moderna, you have the same for with Janssen vaccine, the same tables, same adverse event, same time of adverse event. What is very important to know is that many what they call adverse events of interest were already identified in October 2020. So we have a list provided by people working for the CDC in October 2020 with a list of adverse events to identify or to during the trial and during real life. And I don't know if I have this, because it's very important that people see this.
You know, you show me all this information. I am just so blown away by how this could be allowed. You know, like this is one of the biggest crimes in human history, and it's unacceptable, Christina. I think you're doing a great job, you know, taking these guys to court. I think it's absolutely unacceptable.
They have to pay for the injured people. They have to pay. So click on this. So all the documents of my researches are in direct access on the FDA website, European agency website, the French agency website. So there are documents provided by the company, all the companies, AstraZeneca, Pfizer, etc. At the time of the authorization.
So I've got the page up here. Where do you want me to go to? What number?
Yeah. Let's see. So everything is available from the beginning.
So it says here CBC.
So page 16, 17. So maybe not this one.
Wow, this is pretty interesting. Civilian, like, oh wow, look at all these reactions, eh?
So this is a list of possible adverse event outcomes. So Guillain-Barré, transverse myelitis, stroke, anaphylaxis, acute myocardial infarction, myocarditis, pericarditis. Oh no. Autoimmune disease, death, pregnancy and birth outcome, thrombocytopenia, venous thromboembolism, etc., etc. And if you go back to the first page, and you have a look to the date, the presentation date, vaccines related biological product advisory committee, October 2020.
Wow.
2020. And if you look at the one who prepared this slides, it's Steve Anderson, Director, Office of Biostatistics and Epidemiology.
So click the link there.
For FDA people.
FDA, yeah.
So this list is known from October 2020. And it's not conspiracy theory. It's a list provided by the director of Biostatistics and Epidemiology of the FDA. So when they said it is conspiracy, they are so idiots. Poor guy.
No, I
Okay.
know. It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's very cool you're showing me this list. Interesting.
So it's very interesting, and I've just written a book in France. So the title is All Vaccinated, All Protected, with a dash and a question mark. So it's very...
Oh, that book sounds good. That sounds like a great book.
Yeah, because we have all the story on 2 years with all the authorization given, all the results presented, but with injured people testimonies. That's very important for the injured to be recognized, because they are, some of them are suffering a lot, and they suffer too not to be considered as injured, and it's very difficult for them. So I know I'm working with injured associations, and I try to take care of these people, the few one I know, and I wrote this book.
What latest tragic stories have you heard of a vaccine injury that happened in France that really, you know, broke your heart, or can you not mention any?
Yeah, maybe I just can read some 2 pages or... of this book. But the story that moves me a lot is the story of a mother who tells the story of her daughter Eva, vaccinated in December 2021, and she should have 30 years in December, and she got the jab just a few days before. And the day of having the jab, she had what we call petechies, you know, hemorrhage under the skin, with the purple
Skin frustration, skin rashes.
Yeah, so something like that, but it's hemorrhages. And so a mother let her just to go to the shopping, and she came back to the house, and she was down on the floor, because she wanted to go to the toilets, and she couldn't go to the toilet, so she was everywhere, shit everywhere, and the mother called our 911, and what the mother wrote for me is, I can read it. So in a hurry, I wash her on the toilet because she can't stand up right, so she's clean for her arrival at the emergency room. I dress her. At the moment of putting a dress on her, she makes a last effort and hangs on the towel dryer. She tilts backwards. I hold her back. She will manage to pronounce her last words clearly. Help me, Mom. And this girl, so who was just 30 years old, died into the ambulance 2 hours later, because the ambulance took 2 hours to drive 2 kilometers.
That's unbelievable.
the story the most moving because the last words were "Help me, mom."
Oh, that is just terrible.
The day she had the jab, she began to go down, and she died 7 days or 10 days later.
That's unbelievable. And
Yeah.
seeing all these babies dying from it, and all these kids just dropping dead from it is just it's fucked. It's absolutely fucked up.
Yeah, it's not normal. That's why when I wrote the expertise on the Pfizer trial, I asked to suspend the product and to manage an audit on all centers to check all the methods used in this trial to see if if it complies with good clinical practices. So it was very very objective report with no conspiracy, no conspiracy, just facts with saying here we have problem, here we have problem, here you have problem. We need to have an audit to check if this trial follows the rules, the regulations, the good clinical practices, yes or no. And I was harassed by hundreds of people on Twitter. My LinkedIn account was closed because I shared my expertise on LinkedIn to have the pharmaceutical industry people opinion, and my account was closed in 2 days. And I received strange visits from the US State Department, something like that.
Was this when you were in France? Was this when you were in France or United States?
Yeah, the US Department came into my profile, only the profile. They did not come in real life. They looked at my LinkedIn profile, U.S. Department of States, Apple, the Army. I had many visits. 133 lawyers visited my LinkedIn profile in 2 days before they suspended my account.
Wow, that's a lot.
Was a little bit afraid of all of this. Oh, this report is very obviously. This report is is very touchy. So be careful, Christine. Be careful. So I'm still alive. So no.
Oh, it's great you're doing this. I think it's wonderful you're exposing these criminals. I think that, Christine, how do you see this ending? Because a lot of people say there could be a possible Nuremberg Trials 2.0. Do you think, like Bill Gates, Klaus Schwab, and all that, do you think that they will face justice for their crimes against humanity, or nothing's going to get done?
Very difficult to answer. Because now the very big problem is that we have Moderna studying, I think, 10 or 15 mRNA new vaccines, and the same method will be used to put on the market the new vaccine than the method used for COVID vaccine. So very bad methods, because when you see that the benefit is zero and the risk are major risk. So I'm not very optimistic on the subject, because they go on with the new vaccines on the same way to do and same process, and it's a little bit scary that we will have in maybe several months new vaccine, mRNA, or no, not only mRNA vaccine, but new vaccine developed in very short time. So it's a little bit scary. So for me, the only way not to have the jab is not to have the jab. So if we have 40 million people who don't want to have a jab, nobody can oblige you to have the jab.
Yeah.
If
What
you
is
are just 2 millions, maybe they can oblige you to.
what would you recommend to people? Because we all know that the WHO are doing the pandemic treaty that would give the WHO, control over regions and locals around the world. There are some countries like Russia that refused it, and some other countries had said no. But a lot of Western European countries and like New Zealand and Australia are, even though Australia had some victory lately. What would you say to people who are going to be fighting against that treaty when there's going to be another pandemic? And what would you recommend for people to do if they're trying to get a lawyer against that?
Now, for me, the only way to fight this is to inform people, as they can have a decision, a real consent, knowing every risk and every benefit. So if for people, the majority of people, the risk are greater than benefits, they won't have any jab. Because I'm not a doctor, I can't say to people, you must have the jab or you must not have the jab. This is not my job. My job is to inform. The results are this, the methods are this, and then everyone has to decide by himself. I'm not God. I can't give advice to people. This is not my job. But when you see the results with the Pfizer jabs or AstraZeneca or Moderna, or all the same shit, same poison. So now we have this experience, and if the people try to the new vaccine, I have nothing to say about this. Everyone is free to do what he wants.
So,
but he must be informed.
Say it again.
He must be informed and correctly informed.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely. So, Christina, what do you think about like the people? There are some conspiracy theorists who are going around saying that some people who take the vaccine will die after 3 or 5 years. What is your opinion on that?
I don't know. Really, I don't know. What I can say, looking at the results, is just that the long-term safety was not studied. So you don't know from the clinical trials if you have a good safety at 1 year or 2 years or 3 or 5. You can't say. So you don't know. And long-term safety is into the missing values, missing information into the risk management plan written by all the companies, the pharmaceutical companies. So it's missing. You don't know. They don't know. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. So when you say to people there is no risk, it's not true because you don't know.
I understand that. That's fair enough. So, Christine, before we finish off this interview, is there anything else you would like to say?
No. Take care, everyone. Don't be afraid. Take care.
Where can Christine? Where can people find you and find your work?
Yeah, on Twitter, Stat Chris Cotton, Stat for statistician Chris Cotton, and I have a website, christinecotton.com. And on the website, there are 3 documents in English for the for people who does not speak French. And but on Twitter, or I am followed in many countries in the world, Argentina, Brazil, Romania, USA, of course, Canada. So people can translate the tweets immediately. You have a function to translate, so it's easy to understand, and almost all the documents are in English. So you're lucky.
That's very good. Thanks for coming on, Christine. I had a fun time. It was a pleasure having you. And I just want to say to everybody, please go and check out Christine Cotton's work. She's a fantastic person when it comes to vaccine data. It's very good what she's doing. Give her all the support she deserves. She's doing God's work by exposing, all the crimes and the lies that were portrayed in the vaccines. And I just want to say to everybody, have a nice day. Thank you for joining the Welsh Republic podcast, episode 118. Have a nice day, everybody. God bless you all. Take care.